welcome to today's video. We are on episode 2 of Talkin Tires, and we have a very special guest, the one and only Kevin Burke. We are Talkin Track Tires.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Just leave it alone.
Really?
Sorry, we're talking tires as we're talking tires. The 315 RT660s are super wide, so like we gotta make sure we're not hitting anything. We have RT660s going on my RCF. That actually from AO52s, so that will be an interesting comparison. Anyways, back to talking tires.
Rockstars, as you can see, we're in front of Kevin's beautiful Jays Racing S2000, and we have some AO52s and some RT660s. Today we're going to go a little bit more in depth, talk to Kevin about his take on track impressions on the 2 hottest track tires on the market right now. So let's dive into it.
Oh my God, is that Kevin Burke?
Rockstars, as we've talked about in previous videos, we went over all kinds of tire options for the S2000. We've gone over the RT60, the 615K, the RS4, the discontinued RE71R. Now we're focusing on the RT60 and AO52 with some in-depth track real-world analysis from not only Kevin Burke himself. We have the ADVAN A052 in a 255/40/17 spec, again synonymous with the square setter for the S2000. We're going to get Kevin's take on his track impressions, and Kevin, take it away.
Yeah, so the Yokohama ADVAN A052, kind of a hot tire, has been for a few years now at this point. It's really hard to beat as far as a hot tire, but it comes at a cost. No tire is perfect. Everything is going to have a give and take. Some things it does well, some things it doesn't do well. The AO52 is really good at setting a hot lap, first, second lap of the session. The rest of the session, it does fall off. So what that means is it's kind of a higher tier tire. You don't want to practice and get seat time on this tire. You want to already be at the limit of your car before you dive into an AO52, or else you're just kind of burning rubber, burning money. Because if you're still getting your fastest lap times on the 7th or 8th lap of the session, it means you're not consistent enough to really take advantage of the peak grip of this tire. This tire is unmatched in the ability to throw in a car, go out and do 2 laps, those first 2 laps. No 200 tread bar can really touch it. You know, it comes within a couple tenths to some of its competitors, but it's still fast. My least favorite part about the tire is its longevity. On most cars, the outer edge here will wear very quickly. These tires, like a lot of camper, they also don't last that long. You probably get 2 or 3 days of peak grip out of them. We'll have another 3 days left on them before they start to short, but they will be nowhere near the performance of when they were new. So you see a lot of these cars on the upper level time attack cars, mostly because they're looking to get every single 100th of a second out of their car, and they're not afraid to bring multiple sets of tires at an event. So most GTA cars, like mine, you'll see people bring multiple sets of AO52s to an event to use Saturday and Sunday. This is because these tires really are the fastest when they're brand new. That's true for most 200 tread bar tires, but not all. So AO52, to summarize, it's a fantastic time attack tire. The durability is not great. Probably my least favorite when it comes to seat time in practice. This is not the kind of tire you want to get if you just want to get out and set laps. That's it.
That was some really fantastic feedback, Kevin. A lot of great real-time, real-world experience from somebody who's got a lot of seat time on this tire. As we talked about, like you said, it's a fantastic time attack tire that doesn't really last too long, but it's a tire that you can go set some hot laps. And again, great thing that he touched on, it's not a tire that you can go out and just put on any application. You already want to have maxed out your setup and your seat time in order to go out and maximize the mechanical grip of this tire. So that's a lot of great information. We're ready to move on to the RT660.
Sound check. Good.
Are we rolling?
It's got good smack dynamics. It's really solid. Okay, so the RT660, probably my favorite tire now. It's one of the best all-rounders that you can get currently on the market. It's fast, it lasts a decently long time, and the most important thing is it's super consistent. Versus the AO52, which is a little peaky on the first 2 days, this, in my experience, has been very, very even across the board. And
It's not even on my frame and wasted that frame.
You wasted no film! Okay. Rockstars, we're moving on to the Azenis RT660. I have these on my personal AP1. Now they are a relatively new tire, so there's not a lot of concrete data out on them, which is why we have Kevin here to share some of the insight that he has driving on these tires. They are a 200 treadwear tire and a 255/40/17. If they do look familiar, it's because they are. The RE71R is a very similar tire in relation to the profile. Kevin's going to talk a little bit more in regards to that.
Perfect. So, good insight with the RE71R. They actually have a very similar profile, very similar like shoulder design. However, these are like 10 to 15 millimeters wider for the 255 versus the RE71R. I don't know if you guys went over that, but if you put an RE71R that's 255 next to it, it comes to about here. So you get a lot more meat on these tires. Similar to the trick of the ep.2, which is a little bit wider than 255. Alright, so back to this. There's not a whole lot of data out there. I have quite a bit of experience in this tire. In fact, I ran this tire one set on the RSG wheel-to-wheel car, and both times I went out in competition, we were able to set a class record. The first record was for VTEC Club, A2 class. Second record was for HTAC race modified class. One was at Truckwalla, other one was at Big Willow. So this is a very, very fast tire, and my favorite thing about it is that it's super consistent throughout the heat cycle, in my experience. I've gone through about 2 sets of these so far, so still pretty new. The first lap on them and the last lap were probably within a few tenths of each other, and throughout the session, each lap is probably, I was able to get within a tenth or so of my first hot lap, which means the tire's not really falling off. That could be motor getting hot, making less power, you know, the tarmac getting overheated, so on and so forth. So my favorite thing about this tire is it's consistent throughout. Where it varies very much so from the AO52 is you can get a whole session out of this tire and pretty much have your last lap be your fastest if you are still getting used to the car. Sidewalls are much stiffer on this tire versus the AO52, so you can actually run less PSI. I think I run 32 or 33 hot in the S2000 on this and 35 on the AO52. That's mostly because there's a lot more shoulder on these tires, which is better for longevity. We saw a lot more even wear on this tire versus the AO52. Another thing to talk about is the price. I don't know the retail, but they're substantially cheaper than the AO52 and they'll last longer. So your per track day cost of tires is probably half of the AO52 is. That's only because it'll last longer and you have that lower buying cost. As far as data is concerned, I've gotten within 0.05 Gs on average between the two tires, so it really comes down to driver preference and driver skill to really eke out everything on this tire. This tire doesn't require as much negative tampering as the AO52, mostly due to stiff sidewalls, so we're running lower PSI like I already mentioned, and we've gotten about 7 to 8 days, track days out of this tire. We've never gotten anywhere near that in the AO52. We usually run out of tread at about the 4th or 5th track day. The RT660 is probably my favorite tire right now. I just tested the 315th on my S2000 at the HTAC events on Sunday. Great tire. Zero complaints really about it. I'm putting on that same set on my RCF the daily, so I'll be able to have a little more insight on the daily drivability of these tires. You know, the sound, road noise, all that stuff that track guys don't think about, but most of the people that buy these tires probably aren't track guys.
Alright Rockstars, thank you guys so much for sticking with us through this video. That is a lot of amazing technical data from Kevin, a lot of real world feedback that we're excited to further exploit, further test, and further share with you guys, so that's super awesome. In relation to the daily driving characteristics and the street driving aspect of the Azenis RT660, like I said, I have them on my personal AP1, and although I haven't tracked the specific tire yet, I have had a chance to daily drive them a fair amount. My round trip to work, to Rockstar Garage and back from home, is about 60 miles a day, so I do drive roughly 60 to 100 miles a week on these tires, when I'm driving the SDK, I should say. As far as the road noise goes, they are a little bit noisy. Now, you can tell by the compound, by the design, by the tread, the bolstering, and the actual feel of the compound, they're going to be sticky, they're going to make noise. The mechanical grip that you get from these tires does have a cost. They do offer a lot of initial response, a lot of feedback, and a lot of confidence initially. You don't have to warm them up too much to get all the life and performance out of that tire on a daily driving basis. So that's something that you're going to want to do.
Yeah, there's nothing is free. You know, there's always a compromise. You can't have an ultra sticky tire that lasts forever. That's just not how physics work. You know, the bigger the wing, the more the drag, the more the downforce. Nothing cheats physics. Tires are no different.
Exactly. But for those guys who are looking to maximize grip and get an awesome, fantastic hot lap track day tire, those downsides as far as the noise and a little bit of the tread wear compromise is going to be pennies to the dollar when it comes to the performance that you'll get from the RT660.
Yeah. What I would kind of classify this, just over here you talking about it, is this is kind of like a February to like October tire for SoCal track guys, where you can get out there, set laps, you know, get the car dialed in, and then when it gets down to that cool PV season, is when you want to slap on the A052s. These are almost wasted in the summer because they wear down so fast. But if you want to practice, get off the seat time on this, you drive to and from the track, no problems, and then when you really want to send it, you get on set of these.
These are a great, fantastic practice tire that you can get your suspension, your setup, aero, everything dialed in. And like Kevin said, once you're ready to send it, give it a good smack, dial it in, A052s, you're ready to go.
And honestly, that's only probably a couple tenths of a second, really. Like, we're talking tenths here when we say slap these on for a VB, and that's if you're eking out every single bit out of your car, which, as we know, most people won't.
Exactly.
So even me, like, nobody's perfect, and everybody can be a little bit better behind the wheel. So it really comes down to what you prefer.
Exactly.
And what your budget can allow, really.
Exactly. And like you said, these are a 1 lap, 2 lap, hot lap magic tire. So you don't have a lot of chances to go out and set records on these. So if you go out, you gotta make them count. Alright, Rockstars, thank you so much for watching today's episode 2 of Talking Tires. Thank you so much, Kevin.
Yeah, of course, man. Happy to help. If you guys want any other insight on literally anything here at Rockstar, put a comment below. I'd love to do more videos. So, you know, like, subscribe. If you want to see more of me on this channel, I really appreciate it. See you guys later.
Thanks, Rockstars. You should like throw your underwear like off camera. The brown face, tiny whitey.
You should see how many outtakes we have when we go like that. They're doing a video and I was in the background doing this and he left it on the Rockstar story. Oh yeah. Remember that video?